Right now at 6, authorities arrest a man following a car chase on Rangeline in Joplin.
I got a few clouds out there from some storms off to our north and east. More storms possible later today. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a proposed solar farm in Cherokee County could bring up to 300 jobs to the area, but it's also bringing some questions.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It is July the 8th. And so just before we came back on, Tim, our director, and I, we were talking about growing up in the 90s and such. And we're talking about when my dad brought home our very first VCR and how that was a big deal. But off to the side, the face you made, what? I know. But it was a big deal. Your first VCR, man, you could go to the video store and rent man.
That's like me and the Wii or something.
I guess so. I
don't know.
I mean, it's the closest thing. So I'm sure you folks remember that first time you got to go rent a video from the video store and watch a movie on your terms.
Yeah.
Now we call it streaming, but nonetheless, still good times have been had and more on the way, and rain chances on the way as well. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh, and there it is. And there's a couple of birds. They are flying because it's my understanding that's what birds do. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. It's still a little weird. Now daylight's coming out. They took those traffic lights at 15th Street down. Because remember, that entrance is going to be closed for a while. They're doing that work. In fact, I do not believe you can actually pass through 15th Street right now at Rangeline. I haven't been up there, but still, just use caution in the area. In the end, going to be a great project when it's done. It's a much needed project, but use caution for the next few days. All right, a few lingering showers, Bates County. That's really about it out there. Now off toward north and west and to the north and east, we have these storms. Now they were severe coming into KC. They have weakened. There is a pretty strong cap in place across our area. That's why I see all of this activity starting to die out as it pushes south and east. And that is the expectation. And honestly, based on radar trends, what we're looking at, it does look like, at least through the morning, the cap is going to keep these storms at bay. It's into the afternoon, that is a question. We do have some denser fog now around the Grand Lake area, parts of Delaware, Ottawa, and western McDonald County. So do keep that in mind if you're traveling this morning. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. If we get storms later today, we do have the chance for some strong to low-grade severe storms with hail and damaging wind gusts being the primary concern. The reason I say if is the cap that's in place now, there's some disagreements from the computer data on whether or not it's going to be able to erode or if it's going to stay in place. This future track believes it will weaken but not fully go away, which at this point would limit thunderstorm development this afternoon into the evening hours. Now, if the cap breaks, again, this isn't a springtime storm setup, so we're not talking a severe weather outbreak. It would just allow for more widespread thunderstorm chances across the area. So it's something we want to keep an eye on as we head through the afternoon and evening. 72 in Joplin, 70 in Pittsburgh. Bit on the muggy side out there as well. We do have some upper 60s, but the majority of us, as you can see, low, even close to mid 70s. Veneta now the warm spot at 74. We're looking to be the upper 70s by 9, partly cloudy. Keep an eye on those thunderstorm chances, roughly between about noon and 8. Highs today, upper 80s with a southwest breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We also have some iffy thunderstorm chances tomorrow as well. We're going to go over all the details with you in the full forecast. That's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the OSBI identifies human remains found last week north of Jay, Oklahoma. The Delaware County Sheriff says someone brush hogging a field discovered the remains around 11 a.m. last Monday morning and called authorities. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation took over the case and has now identified the victim as Colton Woods. The investigation is still active and additional details are not available at this time. You can watch for updates on KOAMnewsnow.com. A police chase ending in the parking lot of Joplin Lowe's store yesterday after a series of crashes. The chase of a suspected stolen vehicle began in Webb City. Police say the vehicle hit a utility pole, then traveled south on Rangeline through Joplin, causing at least 3 crashes. Authorities used spike strips to slow the vehicle, then boxed it in the Lowe's parking lot. They've arrested a 35-year-old Joplin man in that case. He's suspected in the burglary of a business on Joplin's East 7th Street in addition to the vehicle theft. Authorities say we should expect additional charges for assault on an officer, property damages, and other crimes. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, people receiving a tip as part of their income may see a financial boost from the president's budget bill, but not everyone will get the same impact. According to Michelle Goldsberry, a tax expert in Southwest Missouri, that money may not go straight to a worker's pocket. She says if you make $50,000 and you have $10,000 in tips, that will lower your income to $40,000, which is what you'll pay taxes on. Up to $25,000 in tips can be deducted, but according to Goldsberry, it's not every tip earned employee who will be impacted.
I would say for the lower income families that aren't already paying taxes or get enough credits that it doesn't affect them, it's not going to help them. Mid earners and up to $150,000 in wages, it'll help give them another deduction to bring down their income, to bring them down to lower tax brackets.
The no tax on tips deduction is temporary, expiring after the 2028 tax year. And a proposed solar farm could bring hundreds of jobs and millions in impact to Cherokee County, but county commissioners say no. Decisions are final yet after residents voiced concern over the proposed Rainbow Springs solar farm that would be built southeast of Columbus. Commissioners requested an impact study. Yesterday, they heard the results. KOAM's Ty Parks has more.
Wichita State University research economist Craig Compton says this construction alone of the proposed Rainbow Springs solar farm has the potential to make a $500 million impact in Cherokee County.
And so everything that's operational after that is just going to be added on to that. The most significant portions of the impact that we see are going to be in the indirect and induced segments of the economy.
Compton says the direct impact is an estimated 300 jobs added for the construction of Rainbow Springs and 8 additional jobs to maintain the facility. He presented his findings to the commissioners Monday morning. Barry Matchett is with Clearway Energy Group, the company behind the proposed solar farm southeast of Columbus.
Long-term tax benefits to the county are really significant. We're a new significant taxpayer, and under Kansas law, renewable projects actually are not taxed for the first 10 years. That's an incentive for projects to be in Kansas as opposed to Missouri or Oklahoma. However, we have proposed what's called a contribution agreement to the county.
So in lieu of paying taxes for the first 10 years, the company's financial contribution to the county would instead come as an average of a $504,000 payment each year. While the numbers sound impressive, Commissioner Myra Frazier says it's not a done deal.
But ultimately, no decisions are going to be made on commercial solar farms in Cherokee County until the Planning and Zoning Board comes up with their comprehensive plan.
A plan that isn't scheduled to be finished until next summer. Reporting in Cherokee County, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Commissioner Jack Gardner says he's heard opposition to the solar farm from his constituents in District 2. Now, the solar farm project is approved. Construction will start in 2028. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. It's been 6 months after deadly wildfires tore through Southern California. We'll see how the region is recovering. Plus, the search for survivors continues in Texas as the death toll rises to more than 100 people. And we're tracking rain chances. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Municipal Park ahead of the Jasper County Youth Fair. Topping Nation Watch, it's been 6 months since the devastating and deadly Eaton Palisades wildfires sparked and ravaged Southern California. Dozens of people were killed. The fire scorched tens of thousands of acres and destroyed thousands of structures. 6 months later, the impacted communities are now showing some signs of healing. Fire officials lifted final orders last month that has allowed for a reopening of a part of the Pacific Coast Highway that's been shut down. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says authorities are ahead of schedule on debris removal. Debris has been fully cleared from nearly 80% of all residential properties in LA that were destroyed by the fires. Almost a third of rebuild requests have been approved. And this morning, the search for survivors of last week's historic flash floods in Texas continues. Officials now say more than 100 people have died, including nearly 30 from a children's sleepaway camp in Kerr County. Meanwhile, local authorities continue to face mounting questions over what more could have been done to alert the public to the dangers as the water rose. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Vigils in cities around Texas Monday honor the more than 100 people killed in the tragic July 4th weekend flash floods. The frantic search is intensifying as hundreds of rescue workers, some volunteers, sift through debris in hopes of finding those still missing.
It's complicated by the broad, the mass of people that we're looking for. This is going to take a while.
10 children and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic in hard-hit Kerr County are still unaccounted for. Officials confirm that at least 27 campers and counselors died in the floods. This video shows survivors from the all-girls camp singing hymns after they were rescued. For parents of the children evacuated from Camp Waldemar, located 20 minutes away in Hunt, a long-awaited reunion.
I had to wait a minute for them to hug their mom first. I'm kind of chopped liver, but ultimately when I did get the hugs, they were really sweet.
The historic flooding has led to criticism over early warning systems. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick tells CBS News that state lawmakers could consider funding new sirens in the coming weeks.
Maybe that would have sparked people to say, oh, we have a massive disaster like 5 minutes away.
Meanwhile, donations are now pouring in.
It's about picking each other up
as communities come together to mourn and rebuild. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
President Trump last night said he does plan to travel to Texas this Friday. The Trump administration has faced criticism over recent cuts to the National Weather Service in the wake of the tragedy. Yesterday, the White House press secretary said the agency provided, quote, early and consistent warnings. And still to come, new data shows a sharp decline in children's health across the U.S. And experts say it could have long-term consequences. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. The sky isn't the limit for a group of young women in Missouri. It's just the beginning. The Red Tail Cadet program, inspired by the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, is taking flight again this summer, giving students a chance to learn how to fly while building leadership skills and career paths in aviation. As Corey Stark shows us, this year's class is making history of its own.
The prestigious Red Tail Cadet program is underway. For 6 weeks, these girls will study flying and work on leadership and career skills.
I thought that this program would give me the perfect opportunity to see what aviation has to offer as somebody who is going into her senior year. And so I want to know what I want to do after college.
This is the 5th year for the program. It all started when founder Anthony Myers met young black pilots in Africa.
If he can learn how to fly in Africa, I can teach kids in Ferguson how to fly.
Working with Flight School Elite Aviation and other sponsors, the program is taken off, allowing students like Yelena to pursue their dream.
I've always wanted to fly. Ever seeing the Blue Angels perform when I was like 5 or 6. I want to be some sort of flight engineer, test pilot. Stunt piloting is one I really want to do.
Yelena's dad was a paratrooper and got her into aviation at a young age. Thanks to this program, she's already spent hours flying planes.
I'm closer to my pilot's license than I am my driver's license.
Students go through months of interviewing, physicals, and ground school to decide who makes the cut. This year, the girls stood out.
And every week there's a cut list, and we got down to the top 10. It's like, well, they're all girls. And so the guys really didn't measure up this year.
In the U.S., women only make up about 6% of all pilots, something these girls hope to change.
I think that it's important, especially for young girls, to see that there's always something that you can do.
Students spend hours studying each day, along with daily flights, setting them up for success long term.
We've got 3 former cadets working at Boeing, a couple in the military, one's in the Navy, one's in the Marines, serving our country. The rest of them are in college, in aviation programs, air traffic control school. So they're doing things that ordinarily they would not have thought of.
Myers says students will shine when you give them the chance.
I think you got to give them the opportunity. Take them out of their comfort zone, take them out of that bubble, and expose them to things.
When Myers was in Africa, people knew about St. Louis because of the unrest in Ferguson a decade ago. He and his students are hoping to change the narrative about our city.
Sometimes there's so many negative stories associated with our city, and there's so many positive stories that sometimes don't get told. This is one of those positive stories that keeps on giving. Each one of our cadets from all of our classes are achieving at a high level.
Incredible. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, take a look at this shot from downtown Pittsburgh. You can see some of the thunderstorm clouds, or what's left of thunderstorms, off to our north and east. We will have partly cloudy skies this morning. More storm chances this afternoon. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's coming up on 6:24 on this Tuesday morning. So we do have these not even thunderstorms, these showers now that are into the, that's not what I wanted that to do, but that's all right. That's now several images of downtown Pittsburgh. We'll clear that out in a moment. We have some showers on the east side of Nevada, and then we also have some showers and storms, or little showers trying to flare up just west of Delaware County. See, we had one this morning. Now we've got some new ones. Not much out of there. This is, again, fizzling out as it continues to push southeast, and so is this. We'll keep an eye on it, but again, the overall expectation with any of this lingering activity is it will be gone before it gets into our area. There could be a sprinkle or two that tries to make it into our far northern counties this morning, but the chances are pretty low. Our environment, at least this morning, is pretty well capped. That's why these storms, they plowed through Kansas City and then they just really began to die out. Excuse me, the further southeast they went because it's just too much, the cap in our area is just too strong. Now, the cap is going to play a very important role in what we see or what we do not see into the afternoon. At this time, we do not have any tornado risk areas highlighted, but we could see some strong to low-grade severe storms with hail and damaging winds as the primary risk. However, take a look at where these areas are highlighted, especially the hail, and then take a look at the future track, because you're going to see some of it doesn't jive. And that's because, at least from this version of the future track, it believes the cap will weaken by this afternoon, but may not completely break. Now, in the springtime, that's a problem if the cap breaks. Right now, if it breaks, it's not a significant severe weather event by any means. It just means more thunderstorms over a broader area. Right now, if the cap only weakens, it's keeping thunderstorm development east of the 69 corridor through most of the afternoon and evening, with maybe a few showers and storms back behind that. If the cap does break, though, we'll get more widespread thunderstorm coverage, similar to what the future track looked like yesterday. That's part of the reason it's changed, is the cap is a big iffy out there, and it can change pretty quickly on data whether or not it's going to actually clear out or not. The other thing that's kind of interesting is, of all the computer models we look at, one is suggesting we could get thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Only one. But we've also been here together in the past where that one has been the one that was right. And so we're going to put it up there and we're going to take it with a grain of salt. We'll see how this pans out tomorrow. But once we get past about 3 o'clock, this future track, this short range one, is expecting thunderstorm development initially into southeast Kansas, and then it dives southeast across the area. Now, we don't have any severe risks highlighted for tomorrow. We're just in this light green, which is general thunderstorms. So that does jive with at least what we're seeing on future track. And some of the other computer models that say there's not going to be the spark for the storms do say that our atmosphere will be set up for storms. They just don't think there will be a spark. This one does. So we'll see exactly how this pans out. So just kind of keep it in the back of your mind that we could get some additional thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Between here and there, though, beautiful sunrise this morning. Take a look at that. Mid-70s by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Keep an eye on those thunderstorm chances again afternoon today. Upper 80s, low 90s tomorrow. Putting that thunderstorm chance there. We'll see for sure. There will be new updates through the morning and we'll see how things change, whether they change and remove the storms or whether they decide there might actually be storms. Sunny on Thursday, low 90s, pop-up storms this weekend, and then next week we clear out and dry out and heat up into the low to mid 90s. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a new definition of obesity means 1 in 5 Americans are now considered obese. An analysis looked at the European Association for the Study of Obesity's new definition of obesity, which looks beyond just body mass index and existing health conditions. Now, it found that many Americans who were previously considered overweight would now qualify as obese. People with obesity have a 50% higher risk of dying compared to adults in the normal weight category. And the health of children in the U.S. is getting worse. A study published in JAMA found over the last 17 years, children's health has declined in a variety of categories, including obesity, physical and mental health, and child mortality. American children ages 1 to 19 are 80% more likely to die when compared to children in other high-income countries. The study says more needs to be done to identify the reasons why health is declining. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a new opportunity for dental patients rolls into Pineville, Missouri.
And take a look at this sunrise from 7th and Rangeline. Looks great out there. Rain chances possible this afternoon and again, maybe tomorrow. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, just ahead of its demolition, we get an inside look at the old Freeman Hospital building in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 6:32. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, July the 8th, and we have some thunderstorm chances out there today.
It looks great right now, though.
That's an interesting thing. I don't have a way to put these back to back, I don't think, although it would be neat if I could.
I can see now. I can.
So we got the monitors over here. So we have our Joplin Tower cam, we have our Pittsburgh one, both looking east. And Pittsburgh, it is quite cloudy. The Joplin side, I'll tell you what. Tim, roll with me here. Let me back this up. Okay, so I'll have to skip a couple of things, but here's the Joplin perspective looking east at the sunrise. And then we travel north and west up to Pittsburgh. And this is that perspective of the sunrise. Not as impressive. We've got clouds that are rolling off of the remnant storms up to our north. So that's what we're dealing with now. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking good. Here's what I want to take a look at this. And so this is what I'm saying. You folks at home know I'm straightforward with you. I don't lie to you. I tell you exactly what's going on. Don't make faces at me. I'm talking. Okay, all right. Well, look. So here's what we've got. See this new shower that's developing now just over El Dorado Springs. Okay, we talked about the cap that's in place. That's why a lot of these storms died out. But then we've got that guy. And then we've got this one down here north of Locust Grove to the west of Delaware County. So these have flared up here recently, but even further back than that, we tried to get some storms. But you see, what's happened is the cap kind of killed them out. So we got to see what these do. In fact, on the loop, if you look almost in the same spot, you'll see earlier east of where it says Tulsa here, there was that storm. It flared up and then it died because the cap is too strong. So we want to see, because it's trying to fill in on this boundary here, if we get any additional storms. The expectation is no, but sometimes when it comes to Mother Nature, she does what she wants. The computers can take their best guess. I can look at the computers and take my best guess. And sometimes she's like, no, we're going to do this. The expectation, though, see, and the cap's evident as you see these storms, even as they were severe going through KC, dying out. So it's something we'll keep an eye on through the morning. We do also have dense fog around the Grand Lake area, so Grove, parts of Delaware, Ottawa, and western McDonald counties, and we have some slightly reduced visibilities around the Veda Stockton. Fog tracker, though, also picks up on heavy rain, and so that could be some of that with those showers toward north and east. So here's what we've got in terms of strong storms possible today. We do have an isolated hail risk across parts of the area and an isolated wind risk across the entire area, but the cap is the big issue. If these storms, the little showers we just showed you on the Skywatch storm tracker, if they manage to hold their own this morning, then that's going to be the sign the cap is weakening. And if that's the case, then what you'll see here won't be 100% accurate. right now, Future Track thinks the cap is going to have a hard time weakening, and it's limiting storms east of 69 until late this evening, and then keeps them isolated further west, which does not jive with our severe weather outlook. If the cap weakens enough or erodes, then we could see a few additional thunderstorms. There's a lot of big questions between today and tomorrow, a lot of uncertainties in the data. 72 in Joplin right now, 70 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the region. Got some upper 60s, not many though. Most of us into the low 70s. We were even a little warmer. Veneta earlier was at 74, back down now to 73. Upper 70s by 9, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mid 80s by noon, upper 80s for our highs, and we'll keep an eye on those thunderstorm chances later this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on the storms trying to develop this morning, and we'll go over some of the other ifs that are in place for our Wednesday here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, for the first time, Pineville residents are getting access to free dental care on wheels. The McDonald County Health Department partnered with the Elks Mobile Dental Program to provide vital preventative care to individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities and U.S. veterans. The service will be provided at the McDonald County Health Department's parking lot. And drivers in multiple counties in Missouri might want to find alternate routes starting next week. MoDOT crews will be out in 5 counties for pavement sealing work beginning July 14th. Those counties are Barton, Jasper, Lawrenceberry, and Stone. Drivers can expect one-lane traffic, flaggers, and pilot cars where crews are working. For a complete list of work locations, just head over to KOAMNewsNow.com. And while plans to raise the old Freeman Hospital building are still in the works, we got a look at the condition of it from the inside. Over the weekend, KOAM took a walk through thanks to Economic Security Corp, the group behind the new plans. Now, much like a time capsule, there was old equipment and files dating back to the 1970s. Demolition on the old Freeman Hospital is set to begin next week. And the Carthage Public Library hosted a 3D design class yesterday evening in the Steadley Family Legacy Center. The class gave attendees ages 12 and up a chance to focus on mastering 3D design software to create digital models. The workshop aims to equip aspiring designers with essential skills in 3-dimensional technology. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Some airport security rules are changing as some travelers will no longer need to remove their shoes during security checks. Plus, Amazon Prime Day officially starts today, and some major retailers are also getting in on the action. We'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Municipal Park ahead of the Jasper County Youth Fair. In Consumer Watch this morning, extended families started traveling together more often during the pandemic, and the trend is not slowing down. Hotels and destinations are responding, unveiling bigger rooms and creating new ways for multiple generations of families to enjoy time together. Wendy Gillette has more in today's Travel Tuesday.
Eric Rivenbark from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, is enjoying what's become an annual vacation with his wife, 3 kids, and his parents, this year in Europe.
You can buy gifts for Christmas or for birthdays. And while we do that, but we don't do it on the scale that we used to, and we try to give experiences.
It's the kind of sentiment spurring more multi-generational travel and why family-centric brands like Beaches are building bigger villas. Its resorts have seen a 50% increase in extended families vacationing together since the pandemic.
Families are really looking to create memories in a way that is unprecedented in the history of travel.
The Fairmont brand is also catering more to families. Some Americans visiting Alberta, Canada, make their first stop the Fairmont Pallister for a touch of Calgary's city life before heading to the mountains at Fairmont Banff Springs at Banff National Park. The hotel has a popular all-season alpine spa and a dozen dining options, and just added new family rooms with a twist.
We have 20 of these rooms here in the hotel with bunk beds, and that's a new thing for us, and it's also something that's fairly new to the luxury industry.
The
The Quail Lodge and Golf Club here in Carmel, California is seeing similar demand. Its redesigned 2,000 square foot villas are large enough to sleep 6 people.
Along with 2 bedrooms and a large living room, the villas feature patios and fireplaces. The Quail's managing director says they're about 30% more popular than before the pandemic.
People are looking to share experiences together. They value the time together. Families want to do things together.
The experiences at Quail, one of those we stayed at for a special rate, include golf for all ages, spa for the grown-ups and for those 14 and older, a Land Rover off-road driving school. An instructor teaches families how to navigate 12 miles of trails, a new way to drive through a challenge together. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Well, great news for air travelers. Passengers at some U.S. airports no longer have to remove their shoes during pre-flight security checks. 2 sources familiar with the matter tell CBS News, and that's because the rule is expiring. The sources say the Transportation Security Administration appears to be phasing in the change. TSA pre-check customers were already exempt from removing their shoes. And Amazon Prime Day is here. Americans are expected to spend almost $24 billion during the big 4-day sales event, according to market research firm Adobe Analytics. But several other major retailers, including Walmart and Target, are also getting in on the action this week, holding rival sales of their own. And Krispy Kreme has launched its new Hungry for Heroes donut collection, celebrating the iconic DC comic superheroes Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. It comes as the new Superman movie hits theaters nationwide this week. And that's a look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, taking a quick look from the camera at 4th and Broadway in Pittsburgh. We've shifted it back to the south and east. You can see just a few clouds off to the south and east, but Pittsburgh getting mostly cloudy at this point. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about our possible afternoon storms as well as the possible storms for tomorrow and what's happening right now when we come back. All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to begin in Frontenac with Jay Swafford celebrating birthday number 9. Says, wishing you your best year yet, filled with laughter, fun, and all your favorite things, with love from your family, friends, and your favorite twins.
And in Next City, happy Sweet 16 birthday to Raina Dobbs Harrison.
And we have Chelsea Bauer in Chanute celebrating birthday number 33 today. Happy birthday.
And in Weir, happy 47th birthday to Tammy Dietz.
And in Uniontown, Herb Headley celebrating birthday number 67. Doesn't look a day over 12. A very happy birthday for you there, Herb.
And a happy 84th birthday to Janie Claffin in Sheldon.
And in Farlington, Robert Noe celebrating birthday number 90 with love from all your family.
And in Crestline, happy birthday to Regina Dooling.
And Rhonda Herrenbrook is actually Regina's sister, also celebrating a birthday. She's just down the road in Columbus. So happy birthday to Rhonda and Regina.
And in Erie, a happy birthday to Randy Westhoff.
And our list does continue with Amber Alford celebrating a birthday in Galena.
And last but not least, a happy birthday to Melissa York in Lawton.
Oh, right. Another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, there's something super easy you need to do. What is that, Elise?
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
All right, now we're going to take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker here. So, talked about the cap. Cap is expected to at least weaken some to give us some thunderstorm chances. Well, there have been some changes. You can see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So what I want to do is I have to click a couple of buttons here, but I want to back this up a bit, and I want to highlight something here right there. Okay, so this storm east of Tulsa into northeastern Oklahoma. Flared up early this morning. Now, when the cap was a little stronger, it flares up. It got going, but it died a pretty quick death. Same with the storms coming up out of the Kansas City area on the north side of our area. They were severe rolling through Kansas City. They've been dying out as well. Same with the activity that's back off to the north and west. But we are getting new development now, as you can see, taking place pretty quickly into Delaware County and then back into Cedar County as well. So that could be our sign that the cap is beginning to weaken enough that our thunderstorm chances this afternoon are very likely still on track. So around Stockton and Stockton Lake area, we do have some showers. Not picking up any lightning with this activity. At least not any cloud to ground lightning with this activity. We've got some heavy rain out there for sure. Looks like we have, you always want to make sure it's not just a radar glitch. No, we have some showers now developing back east of Liberal, southern Vernon County there as well. That by Red Oak, I know, is just a radar anomaly. It's not actually there. And then we have Delaware County, southern Delaware County, from Langley back down toward the east of, just east of Pryor Creek, Little Kansas, and then southwest of Jay into Delaware County, and then back over toward Mays County as well. Scattered showers, thunderstorms developing out there. So we'll see exactly what these do. We are starting to get what's known as a cumulus field that's beginning to develop. It is more evident from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin, which is looking back to the north, back toward Nevada and back toward Pittsburgh. And you can see the cumulus field that's actually starting to fill in where these showers are beginning to flare up through here. So we're going to keep an eye on these storms. Now, again, thunderstorm development wasn't showing up on any data this morning for this morning, but it is there. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. We also have, heading into the afternoon, we have a level 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms. That includes the potential for some isolated hail and wind gusts. So some large hail, some damaging wind gusts will be possible. Now we throw on the future track and it will update again progressively through the morning. But as of right now, it doesn't jive with at least some of the strong storm risk areas with the hail. You will not see but maybe a couple of storms out in that zone. And here's why. There's been some differences on the computer data on when and if the cap would weaken enough to allow thunderstorm development. What we're seeing this morning seems to say that it is beginning to weaken and maybe even a little earlier than expected. So we'll watch it for you. But this data is based on the position or the possibility of the cap just weakening a bit, not fully eroding. And so it confines thunderstorm development east of 69 through most of the afternoon. It's not until later in the evening that we might get, according to this, a couple of stray storms off to the west. However, again, even the latest radar sweeps now on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, those little showers into Barton County starting to pick up. So it's something we want to watch. Then we go into tomorrow. And only one computer model, which I'm going to show you, says it's going to storm tomorrow afternoon. This is what it looks like once we get past about 3, 4 o'clock. There's no other piece of data that shows thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, which is why right now the forecast in general is for partly cloudy skies and hot conditions. But even the computers that say it's not going to storm tomorrow afternoon, they do agree on one thing. The atmosphere will be set up for storms. They simply believe there will not be that spark. Whereas this one thinks that spark will be there. So a lot to keep an eye on between today and tomorrow. And of course, we'll keep you updated on all of that as well. Well, we're having that look at your forecast, plus news, the morning recap. We'll have your wake up recap for you. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to tell you about a paralyzed woman in Illinois that's continuing quilting one-handed after a severe stroke.
Well, this is your wake up recap for July 8th. The top stories to start your day. A police chase ended in the parking lot of Joplin's Lowe's store yesterday. The chase began in Webb City and traveled to the Lowe's parking lot on South Range Line. A 35-year-old Joplin man was arrested. He's suspected of the burglary of a business and vehicle theft. Authorities say additional charges may be filed. And the human remains found last week north of Jay, Oklahoma have been identified. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation took over the case and has now identified the victim as Colton Woods. The investigation is still active and additional details are not available at this time. And the McDonald County Health Department partnered with the Elks Mobile Dental Program to provide vital preventative care to individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities and U.S. veterans. The event runs through July 24th. Now, if you would like to participate, you will have to schedule an appointment through the Elks Dental Program. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
Show you this view real quick. This is the cumulus clouds from showers right now developing in Barton County. So we're starting to see cumulus clouds can only develop if the cap is beginning to weaken, and so we'll keep it. Like I said, we're not anticipating like a significant severe weather event like we would in the springtime, just thunderstorms. All right, upper 80s today, scattered thunderstorm chances into the afternoon, and some of those could be strong to low grade severe. They should wrap up by about 8 o'clock or so. Low 70s tonight, winds will be calm. We'll see what plays out with thunderstorm chances tomorrow afternoon, but we're going to go ahead and throw that chance in there. More pop-up storms heading into the weekend, and seasonably hot, low 90s.
Right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making honey garlic drumsticks in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Ralphie Andonian joins us in the studio to talk about Disability Pride Month.
And Charlene Patton joining us in the studio with another healthy recipe. However, that is going to wrap things up for us for now on this edition of the KOAM Morning News. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.